Welcome to the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth rules video. My name is Nelson.
I'm Serge. Let's go over the new and returning mechanics. It wouldn't be the Lord of the Rings without the One Ring and its many temptations. When the ring tempts you, you designate one of your creatures as your ring bearer. The more the ring tempts you, the more powerful your ring bearer becomes. So how do you get this amazing ring? Let me explain how it works. The ring is an emblem, similar to a planeswalker emblem. When you create it, it's placed in your command zone. Certain permanents or spells have an effect called the ring tempts you. As it tempts you, you get an emblem named the ring if you don't have one. Your emblem then gains its next ability, and you choose a creature you control to become or remain your ring bearer. The ring gains its abilities in order from top to bottom. Once it gains an ability, it has it for the rest of the game. The ring has the following abilities. Your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever a creature blocks your ring bearer, its controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. And whenever your ring bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. The ring can tempt you even if you don't control a creature. That means abilities that trigger whenever the ring tempts you will still trigger even if you don't choose a ring bearer. Each time the ring tempts you, you must choose a creature if able. If the creature you chose was already your ring bearer, that still counts as choosing for the purpose of abilities that trigger when a ring bearer is chosen. Each player can only have one emblem and one ring bearer at a time. Note, the ring is an emblem, not a permanent, so nothing can interact with it so long as the player remains in the game.
Amass is back, but in a new flavorful way that represents the ever-growing armies of Sauron. Amass Orcs functions exactly the same way it did in War of the Spark, just replace zombies with orcs. Amass Orcs N means, if you don't control an army creature, create a 0/0 black orc army creature token. Then choose an army creature you control and put N +1/+1 counters on it. In the rare case that you control multiple army creatures, maybe you have a changeling, while you amass orcs, you choose which of your army creatures to put the +1/+1 counters on. If you don't control an army, the orc army token you create enters the battlefield as a 0/0 creature before receiving counters. Any abilities that trigger when a creature with a certain power enters the battlefield will see the token enter as a 0/0. Some spells and abilities that amass orcs may require targets. If each target chosen is an illegal target as that spell or ability tries to resolve, it won't resolve, and you won't amass any orcs. Oh.
The Third Age was a time of legends, of great warriors and kings, of artifacts and sagas. A historic age, if you will. A card, spell, or permanent is historic if it's legendary, an artifact, or a saga. Having 2 of those qualities doesn't make it extra historic. It's either historic or not. An ability that triggers whenever you cast a historic spell doesn't trigger if the card is put directly onto the battlefield without casting it. Remember, lands are never cast, so historic abilities won't trigger if you play a legendary land. A note on timing. If an ability triggers whenever you cast a historic spell, the ability will resolve before the spell that caused it to trigger. Cast triggers will also resolve even if your historic spell is countered.
Serge, is it 11sies yet? 'Cause I'm feeling hungry for some more returning mechanics. Food is back. Food tokens are artifacts that read 2, tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. Food is an artifact type. Even though it appears on some creatures in other sets, it's never a creature type. You can't sacrifice a food token to pay multiple costs. For example, you can't sacrifice a food token to activate its own ability and also activate the ability of other permanents you control.
That's it for the rules.
Thanks for watching.